Welcome back to Grassroots Media and welcome to this year's edition of the Sand Meat Market Jacob Willett Show, where we cover everything on the diamond with the Chuckey Doak Black Knights baseball team. As always, I'm joined here with Black Knights head coach Jacob Willett. Coach, how are you doing this evening?
Good to have you. Good to have you here. We're doing great. Coming off a big win, feeling pretty good.
Coming off a big win last night over West Green. We'll touch on that in just a moment. Got a few big conference wins so far this year, as we'll talk about getting the two over Happy Valley and West Green. But before we kind of jump in the schedule a little bit, we're starting these a little late. We're about 2.5 weeks into the season now. I want to ask you about how your tenure as a coach has been so far. I know it's been short-lived at the moment. You got the job a little past this time last year, I think after the season, sometime over summer. And then you kind of had to get acclimated to being a coach, going into kind of fall practice and spring practice before the season started. Now it's finally here. Talk about how your time as a coach has been so far.
I've loved it. It's been a journey. Obviously, I learned under my dad, Jimmy Willett, who was the head coach here from 2019 to 2022. He had some good success here at Chuckey Doak. I learned a lot under him, being an assistant under him. Learned a lot at my time at Tusculum University, playing summer ball, different various places. I've played under a lot of good coaches. And honestly, great coaches are good copycats. I take a lot from the guys that I've learned from, stuff that I like, implement it with our guys, and use that to kind of build our program, use building blocks that I've seen at successful programs to kind of get our program rolling in the right direction. So kind of stealing stuff, a little plagiarism, but hey, that's what makes good coaches in my opinion.
I think plagiarism is allowed in coaching. I think it is.
I hope so.
It's good to see Jimmy back there in the dugout too. Hadn't seen him in 2 years since he let go of the job in 2022. But let's talk about the season so far up to this point. You've had 7 games, sitting at 4-3. Most importantly, 3-0 within conference. Started the season at Cott County. I think it was a 6-5 loss in that one, and then a close 3-1 loss to Unicoi County. Since then, I don't think you've lost a game yet, have you?
5-2.
5-2. Yes, that's correct. Yes, you're right. You're right.
But no, we started off the year 0-2. But you look at the quality of baseball that we played in our 2 losses. We lost to 2 really good teams. 2 teams that, fortunately, we don't have to compete with in the postseason. And that's a good thing for us because they are quality teams. And we played really well. We just happened to lose by 1 run against Cott County and then 2 against Unicoi County. But that shows we're competing on a high level. Really, we went through a rough phase in scrimmages, in practices. We really had some rough phases there that we had to iron out. And we honestly didn't look very good. And we were concerned about the season. But right now, what we're getting out of guys is incredible. We're getting guys doing more. We're getting guys showing up to hit on their own time. We're getting more out of guys. And they're having fun, which is the main thing. Our guys seem to be having a lot of fun playing the game right now. And if you get guys putting extra work in and having fun, you get the most out of them, in my opinion. So right now we're playing really good baseball. Like you talked about with the big win last night against West Green. That's a huge win for us. West Green's got a great team. They've got a phenomenal program there. Coach Sauceman does a great job with those guys. And we got another chance to play them again here this evening and set the tone and make everybody in the conference come play catch-up with us. So we can put ourselves in a great spot coming up tonight, and we're really looking forward to that one.
We'll talk about that game a little bit on the second half and just preview, but, man, you're right. How big of a win would that be, getting up 4-0 in the conference with 2 over the team that placed first last year?
Oh, it would be phenomenal. And getting 1 from that bunch is great in itself. Especially with them splitting with South Green, it puts us in a good position. Now everybody kind of has 1 loss. We're the only unbeaten team left. So we gotta keep winning. We gotta make teams play catch up. Keep teams playing catch up while playing high caliber baseball. We put ourselves in a good spot.
Talk about getting that first win and kind of getting that monkey off your back, because losing that first game to Cott County where you were up by 3 runs and then they score 4 in the bottom half of that one, and playing such a tight game with Unicoi, who put a lot of runs on West Green. I think the game before that, you go into that game against Unaka, how much of a relief was that to not only get the win, but to do it in the fashion where you did, where you scored 21 runs? Right.
We jumped out to a big lead early and against Unaka. Cott County, we did the same thing. Cott County, we came out, jumped out to a pretty good lead, played some good baseball. In the end, we couldn't get outs. I mean, they bloop shot, backside jam shot. It was just like any ball they hit in that inning found a hole. And that's baseball. That happens. That result probably doesn't speak to the caliber of ball in which we played that game. From what I remember, it was a couple weeks ago, but from what I remember, we out-hit them We had significantly more hits. We walked less guys. We made less errors and somehow lost that game.
Yeah.
But that's baseball. It happens. And it's a good team. So not to take anything away from them, we played a good game. We just couldn't get out of one inning, and that's what cost us that game. And it happens. But we coming out of that game, we were really encouraged by what we saw because that was our opener. We didn't know what we were going to get at that point. We played 3 scrimmages and we were 0-3 against teams that we thought we should be competing with. So we're going into it thinking, oh, no, we got to do something. And then our guys showed up. And since then, they've shown up. Like those 2 results to start the year probably don't show the caliber of ball that we're playing. A lot of teams, we're sitting 7-0 right now if we play a lot of teams the way we played the first 2 games. But unfortunately, we didn't get the wins there. Come back to UNACA, a smaller school. We come out and jump on them early. The guys competed to play the first inning. The first inning we hit around, put a lot of runs on the board. Second inning we came in and did the same thing. We got some younger guys in to develop a little bit early on in that game. They ended up making it a little closer than what it could have been. But it's important to get our young guys developing, especially in my first year here. We got to have young guys taking strides to push our program forward. We lose some big players next year, so we took a chance to develop some guys in that game, which was big. And then moving forward, we had Happy Valley, the following conference series, just to open up conference play. And Happy Valley's got a great baseball team this year. They've got some really quality pitching. The top of their lineup's really quality hitters. So that's not 2 easy wins there. We had to go earn those. The first game we kind of came out flat. Ended up winning the game 4-3, I believe, if that's correct.
It was 1 run more.
1 run. It was a 1-run game. I think it was 5-4 because they hit a grand slam on us. But we were cruising through the game on cruise control. 3-run lead, 4-run lead, just kind of sailing along through the game. All of a sudden, we faced a little adversity. Gavin was throwing. His pitch count started getting up. I think we had a walk, error, hit by pitch, bases loaded. Then we let him go 1 more. Next pitch, grand slam. And that's something that we got to minimize. A team can't have 1 hit in an inning and put up 4 runs.
Yeah.
But he pitched a fantastic game leading up to that point. He was no-hitting them through 5 innings, I think. Had a no-hitter through 5 innings, 6-inning grand slam. I mean, that's how quickly a baseball game can change. So that speaks upon our cruise control mentality in that situation. We come out the next day. We ended up scrapping a win out of that one. With I think we squeezed in the winning run in the 7th inning. But come out the next day and really put the hammer down. And we realized this team can beat us.
Yeah.
They're a pretty quality team. Our guys saw Happy Valley, I think, of last year and kind of expected more of the same. They got a good program there. I think they got a new coach out there now. He's doing a great job. Then we woke up the second day and we come out and won by a pretty substantial margin. I think we ended up getting a run rule win.
I think it was 14-3. That's always a good win.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. James Seidel hit his first career home run. So shout out to him in that game for a big swing. But we executed offensively. And we don't set up that first game on cruise control and kind of glide through the game. We probably do that the first game as well. But that's a quality baseball team. We'll take our 2 wins any way we can get.
Oh, yeah.
And then moving on, we ended up getting a revenge game against Cott County. Instead of losing by 1, this time we got them by 1. So we've had a lot of 1-run games here that we've been on the better end of, which is very promising, showing our guys growth from game 1 to where we're at now, where we're on the winning side of this 1-run game, even leading back to West Green, where we were in a dogfight with West Green.
That's what I was going to say. Kind of leading into what you're talking about with 1-run wins, you did that same thing against West Green, winning 2-1 off the back of 2 solo shots. Sometimes that's how crazy a baseball game can be, where 2 singular hits end up changing the outcome of the whole game. 2-1 is not as rare of a baseball score as you see, but not a lot of times you see it be a 2-1 score with 2 solo home runs.
Right.
And those 2 hits change the outcome of the game. Luke Myers and Christian Derry out there on the mound too. He took over, I think, with almost a dozen strikeouts, capping out at 11. Talk about how huge it was to get those 2 hits and those 2 performances from Luke and Christian.
Two leaders, 2 seniors come through for us when we needed them the most. And those guys know how big that game is. They know how big the game is tonight as well. So it's really promising, especially, as a coach, you hear things about guys. Certain guys may not fit your style in the locker room. And from the guys that we have had nothing but phenomenal leadership. excellent work ethic, showing up and getting the job done every day. And I think really what we're seeing is these guys maturing as young adults, moving away from the kid phase and moving into a young adult phase. Especially with Luke and Christian, they're coming up and grabbing the game, man, and taking a hold of it, taking a hold of our locker room and being leaders. And that's what we need out of those guys. And that's what we didn't know if we were going to get or not, to be honest with you. With it being my first year, I didn't know what we had in our locker room as far as a leadership perspective. But Christian, man, the job he's done on the mound has been phenomenal. Same with Gavin. Same with Lincoln. We've gotten really phenomenal pitching, and that's why we're 5-2 right now, is because of the pitching performances that we've had. Because the bats have been hit or miss. We've found ways to score enough, but they've been hit or miss. We've played really good defense, and we've pitched the ball at a very, very high level. And Christian against West Green didn't have his best stuff. I've seen days where he's got the breaking ball moving, he's got the changeup, he's got the fastball. Yesterday he just had the fastball. The breaker was not his best day throwing the breaking ball, and he'll be the first to tell you that. But he found a way to compete, and the guy's a competitor. Christian and Luke are two of the biggest competitors you'll meet, and we've got 9 of those guys through our lineup that touch the field, and we've got more on the bench that are just competitors. They just want to win. They'll do whatever it takes to win, and that's why we are sitting where we're at right now, as far as first in the conference, undefeated right now in the conference. Hopefully that continues that way today. We'll hope for the best. The game worries me today, but we'll come out and give them our best shot. That I promise. But man, we got competitors in the locker room. That's made all the difference for us. Luke came along. He was our 9-hole at the start of the year. First game of the year, he was hitting in the 9-hole. He has struggled during BP. It came out of basketball, not a lot of reps, struggling out on the front side, super lungy with the swing. Attack angle was super negative, and now he's starting to get to his real groove offensively, starting to get a plus attack angle, starting to get a good feel for pitches, the strike zone, good barrel control, and man, he's now our 4-hole. So he's jumped from 9 to 4 within the matter of a week. So that just shows the type of change he's made mentally and physically at the plate. And he doesn't make that change, we could lose that game in extra innings. They might go walk us off because he ended up hitting a go-ahead home run, which was massive for us. And Christian, he hit that ball. Man, that was a bomb. He got a hold of that one. He's a big boy. If he gets a hold of it, it's moving.
Or they both left field homers.
Oh, yeah, with the wind blowing that way, which helps. But it was a really fortunate game. We hit 1 home run all year leading up to that point. James hit 1 for us. Okay. Then we get 2 in one game to win a game by 1 run, man. That's phenomenal. It's something you really don't expect. You tell me that outcome happens the day before, I'll probably tell you you're crazy. That's just not how we was going to win that game. But we did. That's how we won it, and we'll take it how we can get it.
That's baseball, though.
It is. It is.
You hit 1 home run all year in 6 games up to that point. You hit 2 solo shots in 1 game.
Right.
And those are the only 2 runs, and you win that game. It was a crazy game overall, and you've got another shot at them today. We'll go ahead and cut into a break first and preview that game in just a minute when we get back on Grassroots Media.
Hey, I'm Jeremy Roberts with Southland Equipment. No matter how big or how small the job might be,
we've got the right equipment to get the job done.
We have one of the area's largest and best inventory of new Massey Ferguson, Premier, Cub Cadet, and Bush Hog tractors and mowers. Our Will Stock Parts department has everything you need. Belts, blades, hoses, and filters. From 1 horse to 120 horses, we'll take care of you in our service department. Hay equipment, we do that too.
Whether you have 1 acre or 1,000, come by and see us at Southland Equipment.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Sand Meat Market Jacob Willett Show, where we cover everything on the diamond with the Chuckey Doak Black Knights baseball team. As always, I'm joined here with Chuckey Doak head coach Jacob Willett. So, We mentioned a little bit on the back half that you had that win over West Green, and you've got that game coming into tonight. I know this will air later on into the week, so by the time this will air, you'll see a win or a loss. Hopefully a win in your case to go 4-0 within the conference, but you get that big game here at home today. Talk about how crucial that game is coming up tonight.
This game tonight, we needed one. We've got one. Going into it, that's how we were talking about it with our guys. We need one. We have to have one. Christian on the mound gives us a great chance to win one. And now, we've said it. We've got our one. We've set the tone. Now we need somebody to step up and go shove for us tonight. So Gavin will get the ball tonight. Gavin's going to go out and throw a phenomenal game, I hope. The time we're watching this, we'll know. But hopefully he gets the ball, and he's produced all year for us. He's been our guy that's rolled out game one. Obviously with the rain and with the weather, Christian went game one and was huge for us. But now it's Gavin's turn. He's going to get a chance tonight to go shut these guys down and give us a chance to win the ball game. And the way they swing the bat, it's no easy task for him. It's going to be the biggest game of probably his career that he's going to pitch tonight. And he's still young. He's just a sophomore. So hopefully the moment's not too big for him. I don't expect it to be. He's really experienced. He's played a lot of baseball. And I think he'll be just fine. He's just got to go out and compete.
And then later on in the week, to close out your week, you've got North Green. You've got that one there on the road. It's an in-county matchup, but it's a non-conference matchup. Talk about that game and talk about what you're looking forward to playing the Huskies.
They're tough. Lowe does a great job with that program. Really similar to what Salzman does with West Green. They compete every year. They're going to have 9 guys to go out and make plays and put the bat on the baseball. And that's tough to compete against. That's tough to beat. But we're going to have to show up. We're going to have to produce offensively. We're going to have to hold. We're going to have to hold them defensively, make plays, keep throwing strikes, keep playing the same caliber baseball that we've been playing for the last 2 weeks now, and it'll give us a really good chance.
And then moving into next week, you've got the 2-game series with Hampton, a team that a lot of teams in the conference are familiar with, but you're not familiar with it being a conference game. You've got them on the road up there in Carter County on Monday, and then you've got them coming down here to Lower Afton on Tuesday. It'll be the first conference series that the Bulldogs and the Black Knights play against each other. What do you expect from them in your first matchup in a 2-way game?
They're always tough. They're scrappy. It's tough to know what they got, kind of where they're at. We haven't played them. Obviously, with it being my first year, I haven't seen a lot of them. So it's kind of a dark spot for us. We don't know what to expect. Johnson County split with them, so that shows they can play ball. Johnson County had a really good run last year, so it shows that Hampton competes. We got to find a way to win. We got to find a way to set the tone, keep winning conference games, and keep putting ourselves in a good position. Right now, we're in the lead. We stay that way by keep winning. So that's what we expect to do.
Wanted to touch on that before we cut this off. I want to talk about the conference standings. Of course, you're at the top right now at 3-0. I think right behind you is South Green and West Green in the tie for second place right now. And then talk about Hampton, Happy Valley, and Johnson County. I haven't looked into their schedules much. I know Johnson County had the 2 losses to South Green, and then the split with Hampton. Has Hampton and, have Hampton and Happy Valley played yet?
I do not think they have.
Okay, I didn't think so either.
But Happy Valley's got a good team. That I can speak on because we played them last week. And they've got some quality arms that go out and compete. They had a guy really carve us up for about 4 or 5 innings the first game we played them and gave them a real chance to win that game. We unfortunately came out of it with a win. But that's a team that's really scrappy, and come tournament time, they're going to be dangerous. Johnson County and Hampton, I don't know a ton about. I know Johnson County had some postseason success last year, so I expect them to have a pretty decent little team. We got to keep winning. That's what I can speak of for our program. We've set the tone. I think West Green, we were worried about, really much so. From everything I've heard about them, we're still worried about them tonight. Happy Valley kind of snuck up on us. They had some good arms, and they could have took a game from us. They really could have. The second game we come out and put them away. The first game, that could have went either way. So I expect that to be a tough beat for any team in the conference, especially game 1, game 2 with the guys they've got Schoen and Blevins. Those guys go compete at a really high level, just like Derry, Gavin, Lincoln, the guys on the mound have done for us so far.
thinking of it a little bit more, I know you're at the top at 3-0 right now. South Green, I think, has sole second place, sitting at 3-1. And then West Green, Johnson County, and Hampton all have 1 win each. I don't know if Happy Valley's played a series outside of you all, because I know they haven't played any of the other county teams, but those are the conference standings as of right now. You got that big game with West Green tonight. That's basically been the theme of this whole episode, but we'll go ahead and cut it off here with West Green coming up tonight, then North Green on Thursday, and then Hampton, a 2-game series the next time we'll sit down and talk. Hopefully we'll get a few more wins to talk about and see how much that winning streak goes to.
Hopefully
but Coach,
so. Thanks,
I
sir.
appreciate you for sitting down and talking to me.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you
to
all.
Sam's for having me out.
Absolutely. Sand Meat Market. We'll have to look up the deals again. That's something Coach Donahue and I did each
All
week.
right, we'll do that.
So we'll see what deals they've got going on next week when we sit down. Thank you to them for sponsoring us again, and thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Sand Meat Market Jacob Willett Show. Look forward to seeing y'all next time here on Grassroots Media.
Thank you.